atheist minority here feel so browbeaten that they've organized themselves into what they call a free thinkers group, which meets furtively, perhaps to fantasize about moving to Canada. How nice to meet you.
Oh, Richard, it's wonderful. Welcome, welcome. It's so
How nice. Do free thinkers in America feel pretty beleaguered at the moment?
I've had my fair share of vitriolic letters and messages from parents saying that I'm Satan's incarnate for teaching evolution. And there are ministries here in Colorado Springs that indoctrinate students in summer programs to challenge biologists, biology teachers in the classroom. And
so is it organized campaign to
Oh, they're organized campaigns, absolutely. I do not tolerate it because I teach.
But they have this mindset that they are right.
If a person comes out in this country as an atheist, they're likely to suffer career damage. They might lose a job. They might not get a job. They might lose an opportunity for an apartment.
Waking up, as most Americans do, very late on this, coming to a realization, as we did during the McCarthy era, and even during...
It's very similar to the McCarthy era.
Yes, it is. And we do begin now to see the dangers of this extremism.
Christian fascism, isn't it?
And whatever mantle you want to give it, which I've heard lately is domination theology, dominion Christianity.
How many Christians would be left? The person who's ever become a Christian has gone through the same thing here.
Was that God forgives them and loves them. And
in a Christian, I had a hard time.
Fundamentalist American Christianity is attacking science. But what is it offering instead? A mirror image of Islamic extremism. An American Taliban. We live in a time of lethal polarization, when the great religions are pushing their conflict to a point where it is difficult to see how they can ever be reconciled. In New York, Madrid, and London, we've witnessed the religious insanities of the Middle East penetrate the heart of the secular West.
This morning, and freedom will be defended. I want to reassure the American people.
To understand the likes of Osama bin Laden, you have to realize that the religious terrorism they inspire is the logical outcome of deeply held faith. Even so-called moderate believers are part of the same religious fabric. They encourage unreason as a positive virtue.
And punish those responsible.
What's really scary is that religious warriors think of what they are doing as the ultimate good. Those of us brought up in Christianity can soon get the message. Onward, Christian soldiers, fight the good fight. Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. But as far as I'm concerned, the war between good and evil is really just the war between two evils. This is the Holy Land, where the terrible certainties of faith began and still rage. I've come here because it's a microcosm of the religious conflicts which threaten rational values and civilization. The dreadful combination of politics and extreme faith has caused the death of almost 4,000 people here in shootings, suicide bombings, and reprisals in the last 5 years. Despite the troubles, tourists still flock to Jerusalem, to places that their particular brand of religion taught them to revere as a child. The Via Dolorosa, where Jesus was allegedly whipped and beaten during the last hours of his life. Or the Muslim Dome of the Rock. Or the Western Wall, Judaism's and the world's most holy ruin.
Special church because the church here is
on the surface it looks like a place of harmless myth.
Because here is the hill of Calvary where Jesus was crucified and the tomb of Jesus. Here what we are facing to the stone of anointment where the body of Jesus was taken down from the cross So this is the slab where Christ's body was anointed with oil.
How do we know that? Is there any evidence that it was here?
You see, this is by telling from person to person.
It's tradition.
Traditional,
yes.
from generation to the next.
Yeah.
We can see the hole where the cross was stood, where they're putting the cross inside the hole, and this is the place where the place of the crucifixion and where Jesus died on the cross.
You don't really believe that, do you?
This is the Christians, as I explained to you, that they believe this is the place where the crucifixion took place. And if we're coming closer to here, to my side, please, thank you. Guard of the tomb is the Greek priest, regarding the tomb of Jesus. This is left from the big part of the stone which closed the tomb. What we call it the rolling or angels. Watch your head, please. Thank you very much. Please. This is where you slayed and rose from death. We call it sepulchre, means empty tomb. God bless you. You can touching the tomb. You can make your prayer.
Please, I get 4 days off. You come tomorrow, you leave, no Thursday. Forget it.
This holy city has to be one of the least enlightened places in the world. And it is also a place of barely suppressed religious hatreds. We live at a time when religious belief is fighting back against reason and scientific truth. This is a problem for all of us, because religion's irrational roots nourish intolerance to the point of murder. I'm in Jerusalem's Old City, trying to understand the role deeply held faith plays in the bitter conflict here. One of the first things you notice is the edgy watchfulness. The different ethnic and religious communities live cheek by jowl, but there are security checkpoints throughout the Old City, and one section, above all, is under heavy guard. For the Muslims, the compound enclosing the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque is, after Mecca and Medina, the third holiest site in Islam. It was from here, they believe, that the Prophet Muhammad flew up to heaven. As bad luck would have it, the Jews believe the same place is the site of the long-destroyed First and Second Temples, the holiest shrine in Judaism. Jews are not allowed to worship inside the compound. Their prayers are restricted to the ruined Western or Wailing Wall.
When Jesus came here to overturn the tables, there was no mosque in view. When the Arabs conquered this part of the world, they established the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and then they put over where we think is the main temple compound, where the altar was, where the Holy of Holies was, they put another building called the Dome of the Rock, which is not properly a mosque. And we, at the present moment, are simply not allowed in there, inside the compound, identifiably as Jews.
The Muslims reject these Jewish claims. And when Ariel Sharon entered the Temple Mount area in the year 2000,
I came here with a message of peace.
His visit sparked the second, or Al-Aqsa, Intifada, a Palestinian uprising that has cost 4,000 lives so far.
وإذا أراد اليهود السلام مع العرب والمسلمين وفلسطين فليبتعدوا عن المسجد الأقصى المبارك.
And if the Jews sincerely want peace with the Arabs and the Muslims, then they should stand